So today I'm going to talk about the present perfect tense, and this is a tense that you've never seen before and it's very different, so it's important that you pay attention. So the present perfect indicative is used to say what has or hasn't happened in a period of time up to the present, or to talk about something that has happened very recently. So we use this a lot in English as well as in Spanish. So this sentence says, Yo no he hablado con tu suegra todavía. I have not spoken with my mother-in-law yet. So the a is the equivalent of our have or has, and the hablado would be the equivalent of the word spoken in English. So a lot of times I also like to say that the ado or ido is kind of like the equivalent of our ed. So we're going to talk about how we would write the present perfect in Spanish today. So to form the present perfect indicative, we use the present tense of the verb haber, which is the helping verb to be, followed by the past participle of the main verb. So what we're going to talk about first is we're going to talk about how we put haber in the present tense, and we'll get to the past participle on the next slide. So basically what we do is we take the verb haber, and depending on the subject, we form it as a, as, a, hemos, and an. The past participle is formed two ways. If it's an AR verb, the first thing that we do is we take off the AR and we add ado. So here's an example. The verb hablar, to speak, we would take the AR off and we would add hablado. So if I wanted to, I could say a sentence like, I have spoken to the teacher today. Yo he hablado a la maestra hoy. If I want to form a past participle using an ER or IR verb, I take off the ER and IR and I add ado. So for AR verbs, we add ado, and for ER and IR verbs, we add ido. So a common verb that we'll use with this chapter, since we're talking about la comida, is the verb comer, and it would be comido. So I could say something like, I have eaten the food today. Yo he comido la comida hoy. Another one, an IR verb, recibir, would be recibido. I have received the package. Yo he recibido el paquete. So here's some examples of the past, of the present perfect tense. So I could say something like, she has given birth. Ella ha dado luz. Or I could say something like, we have eaten the avocado. Hemos comido el aguacate. So here is the helping verb haber, and it's in the he, she form. And here's the participle dar, dado. I used the verb dar, to give. I took off the AR, and I added ado. Here, the helping verb is hemos. It's coming from the verb haber. And here's the participle right here, comido, coming from the verb comer. I took off the ER and I added ido because it's an ER verb. Here's another one. You have drank the lime juice. Has bebido el jugo de lima. So what I want you to do right now is I want you to form a sentence using the present perfect tense. Remember, we use the verb haber, and the verb haber is as, a, hemos, and an. Then with the present perfect, I also have to use the past participle, which AR verbs, you would add the ending ado, and ER and IR, you would add the ending ido. So if you could please pause the video and write your own present perfect tense sentence. We will be sharing these when we get back to class. So we know, of course, there are present perfect past participles that are irregular, and I'm going to show you 11. These are the most common 11 ones that we're going to use in this chapter. So here are some irregular past participles. They don't follow the ado and ido sequence. So here it is. Abrir, to open, abierto. Cubrir, to cover, cubierto. Decir, to say, dicho. Escribir, to write, escrito. Hacer, to do or to make, hecho. Morir, to die, muerto. Poner, to put or to place, puesto. Romper, to break, roto. Ver, to see, visto. And volver, to return, vuelto. Oops, I forgot one. descubrir, to discover, descubierto. So, we use it just the same way as we use the regular verbs. I could say something like, she has opened the door. Ella ha abierto la puerta. Or we have covered the food. Hemos cubierto la comida. Or she has told the truth. Ella ha dicho la verdad. So here's some more examples if you would like to see it visually. She has made the chocolate cake. I'm trying to incorporate the vocabulary from chapter 4, set 2. Ella ha hecho el bizcocho. We have opened the lemon juice. Hemos abierto el jugo de limón. So sometimes there's a few more irregulars. If the stem of an AR-ER verb ends in a vowel, like leer, so the stem would be le. And if it ends in a vowel, the verb traer, to bring, the stem ends in an a, trae, you would add an accent over the IDO. So leer would be leído and traer, traído. So here's just a few examples of that as well. Ella ha leído el libro. She has read the book. And we have brought the shrimp to the party. Nosotros hemos traído los camarones a la fiesta. One more thing about the present perfect. When we use object pronouns with the present perfect indicative, they always go before haber. Don't confuse this with the present progressive tense, because remember in the previous video, we would a lot of times attach the direct object pronouns to the present participle. So we would say something like, she is doing it, ella está haciéndolo. Don't do that for the present perfect. It goes before the verb, haber. So here's an example. I could say, Florencia nos ha cantado las buenas noticias. Florencia has told us the good news. So in this situation, they're using the indirect object pronoun nos, and it's going before the conjugated verb of haber. This is the object pronoun right here. So it goes before, it does not attach to the participle. Don't confuse that with the present progressive tense. Here's another example. Me han invitado a la boda. They have invited me to the wedding. And me is the indirect object pronoun that stands for me. So we use it before the verb haber. So what I want you to do now is I want you to write a sentence using a present perfect with an irregular past participle. So you could say something like, we have told the truth, or we have discovered the situation, or we have covered the food in the refrigerator. Here's one more example. Ella ha abierto la puerta. Please pause the video and write your own sentence using the present perfect with an irregular past participle. That's it. Adios.